The takeover, the Caitlin Clark takeover continues as she continues to destroy ESPN ratings. Absolutely took the hammer and smashed the ratings as always. Not only that, Caitlin Clark appears to be in the top 3 for the MVP award. We have got to get into it. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit the bell notification, hype the video. That'd be greatly appreciated. We got to get right into things, man. Caitlin Clark absolutely on fire, took over. And this is what I'm saying.
Silence hit the room hard the second those new MVP odds popped up on screen. Stephanie White just stared stunned as Caitlin Clark didn't just enter the MVP race. She blew right past everyone in it. This wasn't a small stat bump. It was a full-on power shift inside the team. Kelsey Mitchell had been the face of this franchise for years, the one fans built shirts and campaigns around. Now a rookie is quietly pushing that legacy aside, and the coaching staff staying quiet. That silence says everything about the storm building behind the scenes in Indiana.
Video, that'd be greatly appreciated. We got to get right into things, man. Caitlin Clark absolutely on fire, took over. And this is what I'm saying. It does not matter. These Dejanay Carringtons that are talentless, they can't take over the spotlight. Y'all talking about race. We're talking to everything else. Caitlin Clark continues to deliver no matter what is going on. Have you noticed they're not running around showing the ratings for all the other teams around the league? Have you noticed that? Is it because the ratings are not good for PR? I think it's bad PR if they show the other ratings because they won't be very.
ESPN's numbers are breaking records left and right, and it's got the front office buzzing. Simply put, Caitlin Clark is smashing through the ratings ceiling like it's nothing. 2 weeks in a row now, the network has landed its second highest watched WNBA game ever. And that's no accident. While other teams chase headlines and hype, Clark is pulling in real fans, people who actually sit down and watch the games. The gap between her numbers and everyone else's is getting too big for critics to brush off anymore.
You notice that? Is it because the ratings are not good for PR? I think it's bad PR if they show the other ratings because they won't be very good. That is why they only show the Caitlin Clark ratings, because while everybody else is running around clout chasing, complaining about this, oh, we want transgenders, oh, we talk about racism, oh, we want to go start a queer league, oh, we want to do this and do that. Caitlin Clark has a real basketball fan base. Her fan base actually watches basketball games, which is why her ratings and viewership reflect that. Take a look at this.
The odds don't lie. And right now, Clark sits in the top 3, right alongside Wilson and Olivia Miles. That's a huge slap in the face to anyone who called her just the 11th best guard around. She's answering every doubter the hard way, leading the entire league in points created per game. Add up her scoring and her playmaking, and she's putting up over 40 points a night for her team. That's true MVP level production, the kind that should have the whole Fever organization celebrating. Instead, there's this strange tension like the veterans are still stuck reading from an old playbook.
Fan base. Her fan base actually watches basketball games, which is why her ratings and viewership reflect that. Take a look at this. For the second consecutive week, ESPN delivered its second most watched WNBA game ever. Okay, Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky on ABC averaged 2.6 million viewers, up 79%. It says WNBA on ESPN networks is up 5%. Caitlin Clark shutting down the ratings. Shutting it down, taking it over.
Last season, the Fever basically painted the court with Kelsey Mitchell's name. Shirts, interviews, a full campaign. They pushed hard to get her the credit she'd earned. Stephanie White was leading that charge herself. But now, the most popular player the sport has ever seen is wearing their jersey. And that same push is nowhere to be found. Makes you wonder if there's some resentment brewing watching a rookie do, in 1 year, what the veterans couldn't pull off in 10.
Are absolutely shutting it down, and then we have to get into this as well. Don't you love to see it? Don't you love to see it? ESPN top 3 betting odds for MVP as of today. You got A'ja Wilson, Caitlin Clark, and Olivia Miles. Now, what will be very, very interesting here is we saw the Indiana Fever go out and do an MVP campaign for Kelsey Mitchell last season. They went and wore shirts. They wore all types of, they got shirts made. They damn near put a Kelsey.
Turned heads fast. That's what happened when Aaliyah Boston sat down for a recent interview. Instead of hyping the teammates smashing records, she doubled down on Kelsey Mitchell as the real MVP. Sure, Mitchell's work ethic is elite, one of the best scorers alive, but the silence around Clark spoke volumes. Where's the campaign for Caitlin? Why speak up for the veteran and go quiet on the rookie, who's the actual reason this team has the world's attention?
For Kelsey Mitchell last season, they went and wore shirts. They wore all types of, they got shirts made. They damn near put a Kelsey Mitchell MVP logo in the middle of the court and got rid of the Indiana Fever logo last season. It'll be interesting to see if the Indiana Fever put on the full court press for a Caitlin Clark MVP campaign. That'll be interesting. You know, the Las Vegas Aces are going to have their A'ja Wilson campaign going on. The Minnesota Lynx are already doing their Olivia Miles MVP campaign. Will the Indiana Fever do anything for Caitlin Clark's MVP campaign? And let's take a look.
Something strange is happening inside the Indiana Fever locker room, and no one wants to talk about it. Every time Caitlin Clark gets hit hard on the court, the room goes silent. Every time rival players take shots at her in interviews, her own teammates say nothing. But the second Stephanie White or Kelsey Mitchell needs a little extra shine, suddenly everyone finds their voice. Watch closely, and you'll start to see a pattern. It almost looks planned. It almost looks like a system built to protect the old guard while the rookie, who's carrying the entire league, gets left out in the cold. Think about that for a second. This isn't some random bench player we're talking about. This is arguably the most valuable asset this franchise has ever had. And yet, the support she's getting from inside her own building looks nothing like the support Kelsey Mitchell got just 1 year ago. Let's talk about that old narrative floating around. The one that tried to rank Clark as only the 11th best guard in the league. That story is dead now. And the numbers are the ones that killed it. Look at where Clark actually sits in the MVP race. She isn't hanging around the back of the pack. She's sitting near the very top. And depending on which category you look at, she might already be second overall. The receipts are right there in the stats. She leads the entire league in points created. Not close to the lead. She's first outright. When you combine her scoring with her playmaking, she's generating close to 40 points of total offense for her team every single night. Now, compare that to the argument that Kelsey Mitchell deserves the MVP simply because she scores a couple more points per game. On the surface, that sounds fair, right? But basketball doesn't work in a vacuum. Clark is dishing out nearly 8 more assists a game than Mitchell. That means she's directly responsible for a massive chunk of extra scoring that never even shows up under her own name. And it goes deeper than that. When Clark steps on the floor, defenses have to completely reshape themselves around her. That shift, that gravity she creates, is exactly what opens up clean looks for everyone else on the roster, Mitchell included. So, when people say Mitchell is the more valuable player, they're leaving out the exact thing that makes modern basketball tick. They're rewarding experience over actual impact. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. People are more than happy to jump on camera and defend Stephanie White. People are more than happy to hype up Kelsey Mitchell's MVP resume. But where was that same energy when Clark had a hand practically wrapped around her throat during a game? Where was that same energy when Sophie Cunningham got knocked out of the air by DJI Carrington? Silence. Complete silence. And when you start noticing who speaks up and who doesn't, it starts looking less like coincidence and more like a choice. It starts looking like certain people inside that organization are still living in the Kelsey Mitchell era and just aren't ready to hand the keys over to the rookie, even though she's already proven she deserves them. So, here's the real question that needs answering. If the numbers are legitimate, and they clearly are, shouldn't the same people who campaigned so hard for Mitchell last season be doing the exact same thing for Clark right now? Fair is fair. If you got in front of a camera and said Kelsey is the MVP, You owe it to the team to get in front of that same camera and make the case for Caitlyn too. Because these numbers aren't just good, they're historic. Let's zoom out for a second and talk about what's actually at stake here. Is this a basketball team trying to win games and elevate its best player? Or is it turning into some kind of social club more focused on protecting hurt feelings than chasing a championship? Because if Indiana finishes this season strong, Clark has a real shot at becoming the first rookie MVP in decades. But that only happens if the entire organization actually gets behind her the way they got behind Mitchell. We need to see the shirts. We need to see the coaching staff wearing the gear. We need to see teammates leading the cheers, not staying quiet on the sidelines. If that support never shows up, then in a very real sense, this team is sabotaging its own biggest star. Let's put the numbers on the table one more time, because they matter. Clark is averaging close to 40 points of total offensive impact per game when you combine scoring and assists. And that leads the entire WNBA. She's third in the league in scoring and first in assists. That combination almost never happens for a veteran, let alone a first-year player. This isn't a borderline MVP case. It's about as airtight as it gets. So, if the Fever refused to run a real campaign for her, that tells you everything about what's actually happening behind closed doors in that locker room. And here's the thing, the fans see it too. They see the lack of protection on the court. They see the lack of vocal support in the media. It almost feels like the organization is trying to humble their own franchise player instead of celebrating her. But you cannot humble someone who is single-handedly keeping the league's ratings afloat. The scoreboard doesn't lie. The ratings don't lie, and the betting odds definitely don't lie. The only ones who seem to be in denial are sitting right there on the Fever bench. Remember how it looked last season? Stephanie White was front and center, smiling ear to ear, wearing Kelsey Mitchell MVP gear, demanding the league give her player the respect she felt she deserved. That's fine. That's coaching. That's loyalty. But where is that same fire now for the player who is actually winning games, filling arenas, and pulling in brand new fans by the millions? If Mitchell got that level of commitment, Clark deserves nothing less. Anything short of that is a disrespect, not just to her, but to every single person who started tuning into the WNBA because of the impact she's had on the sport. Now, let's talk about the physical side of this, because it's been largely ignored. When Sophie Cunningham and Janai Carrington were making headlines for rough physical plays against Clark, where was the pushback from Fever leadership? Nowhere. No public statements demanding better officiating. No real defense of their own player. But somehow there's always time to praise Kelsey Mitchell's work ethic on camera. That kind of selective silence builds a narrative all on its own. One where Clark looks like she's fighting a battle on two fronts. Against opposing defenses on the court, and against a lack of backup from the very people who are supposed to be in her corner. That is not how you protect a franchise cornerstone. That old idea that Clark was just another mid-pack guard has been buried, and it's not coming back. According to the people who actually put real money on these games, she's sitting near the top of the entire MVP conversation. This isn't hype. This isn't some social media trend that fades in a week. This is a direct reflection of the value she brings to the floor every single night. If the organization around her can't see that clearly, then frankly, they don't deserve the success she's handing them on a silver platter. At some point, this team has to decide what it actually wants to be, a legitimate championship contender, or a group more concerned with managing bruised egos than winning basketball games. And look at the television numbers, because they tell the real story here. League-wide viewership on ESPN is up around 5% this season. Solid, respectable growth, but Clark's games specifically up nearly 80%. Let that sink in. She is single-handedly pulling the rest of the league up with her. While other franchises are struggling just to fill half their arena, the Fever are selling out on the road night after night. That kind of impact has never been seen before in women's basketball history. So when her own teammate goes on camera and campaigns for someone else during a stretch like this, it's hard not to see it as disrespect. Fans are starting to ask real questions about where the loyalty inside that organization truly lies. Is the priority keeping Kelsey Mitchell comfortable, or is it recognizing the generational talent that's rewriting the record books in real time? From the outside looking in, it sure doesn't look like the latter. When you have a player leading the league in total offensive impact and shattering television records at the same time, silence is not an option. The world needs to hear loud and clear that she is the MVP. The fact that this conversation even has to happen shows there's a real crack somewhere in this team's culture. A struggle to properly handle real once in a generation stardom. So, here's what needs to happen next. The front office needs to launch a full-scale MVP campaign. And they need to do it now, not later. They need to bring the same energy, if not more, than what they gave Mitchell last season. This isn't just about a trophy. It's about the long-term future of the franchise. Because if Clark ever starts to feel unsupported by her own coaches and teammates, why would she want to stick around for the long haul? The organization needs to wake up fast and understand exactly what they have. A talent that comes along once in a lifetime, and one that deserves every ounce of praise they can give. The shift happening in women's basketball right now is real. Whether the old guard is ready for it or not, Caitlin Clark is the new face of this league, and her MVP case gets stronger with every single game she plays. The ratings aren't lying, and the fans aren't disappearing anytime soon. Stephanie White and Aaliyah Boston have a choice to make. Either step up and be part of this historic moment, or keep standing in the way of their own teammates' success. The days of playing favorites based on seniority are over. It's time to give credit where credit has already been earned before the moment slips by completely. At the end of the day, this franchise is sitting on a golden opportunity. They have the most talked about player in the sport and a real shot at winning an MVP trophy in her very first season. If they choose silence, or worse, choose to push support towards someone else, that's a mistake fans will remember for a long, long time. Caitlin Clark has already proven by every measurable standard that she's the most valuable player in this league. Now, it's on the people inside her own building to drop the politics and finally support the greatness standing right in front of them. If you think Caitlin Clark deserves this MVP more than anyone else in the league right now, drop a comment and let us know where you stand. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you never miss the next update on this story as it unfolds.